It's Myranda Love here live from Ninja Growth Strategies, here with our client and business coach, Jennifer Dworsky. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hi there.
Hi, thank you so much for joining me on today's Expert Spotlight. And I would like to go ahead and you just kind of tell me a little bit more briefly about you and about the work about your business. That would be awesome.
Fantastic. I am Jennifer Dworsky. I have a background of 20 years in human resources, and I am currently a business coach. I am an owner of a FocalPoint business franchise, and I've done this now for a year that I've been with the franchise, and I've done HR consulting before, so I figured, hey, why not do what I do best, which is help others with their businesses. And last year I came across FocalPoint business coaching online through LinkedIn, and I figured, why recreate the wheel every time that I had a client? Let's check them out, and they checked me out, and I figured, let's go with something that seemed tried and true and use their resources instead of recreating my own resources every time with every client. And so my journey with FocalPoint kind of took off from there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Jennifer. So from there, what problems were you experiencing then in that year that you had been kind of with being a business coach under the FocalPoint brand and doing things that way?
Well, I knew, having been a consultant before, that you spend the majority of your time looking for clients and marketing yourself. And then it's kind of like, well, where do I have the time to then service the clients that I bring on if I'm spending the majority of my time looking for clients? And so I thought the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow was to partner with another business, another company. And I thought that's where the key was to go in with the franchise, and that they'd be able to offer me the resources that I need. So I figured I wouldn't have to recreate documents and curriculum and things like that, that I would get their material, get to utilize their material without having to recreate the wheel, which is true. They give you all the, access to their branded material, but you still have to go out and find all the business and all the clients, and they don't help you in that respect. They don't give you sales training, they give you a couple of ideas, but it's really still about going out and getting all of the business. And so the FocalPoint brand doesn't help attract people. And a lot of people don't know of Brian Tracy. I find that who is the developer of the material. But I find that, it's the older individuals who are like, oh, yeah, I think I've heard of Brian Tracy. Oh, yeah, I read a book. And, oh, yeah, I attended one of his seminars. But the younger generation, they're like, Brian who? And the sales, the sales information they try to give you, the little bit that they do, I find that the methods are antiquated, and it's certainly not geared towards, it's not geared towards a younger audience. It's not geared towards a younger client base. The marketing aspects totally are below it's below the market that's out there now. You've got kids out there who high school kids, college kids, people who are still in college, who are building their own businesses online, who are entrepreneurs at a very young age, and they're attracting bucks. They're attracting angel investors. They're attracting funding. Right here in the city that I live in, Kansas City, it's a very young entrepreneurial type of marketplace. So, Kansas City alone is attracting a lot of attention nationally for being a very big startup community.
That's what it is that you're saying. Definitely, it resonates with a lot of other certified business coaches and FocalPoint and some of the other ones that have come to me and that I've spoken to, and the clients that we've worked with, and in the past year that I have been actually launched my coaching business. And I agree with what it is that you're saying about about how the younger generation are attracting things faster, than that kind of outer data, because we've grown up, or they've grown up in that using the internet. Using those sorts of things. I got my first Hotmail, whenever I think I was in my freshman or sophomore year of college. So that's, whenever I kind of got on there, so I'm in that. But it is even more so than attracting the funding, like what you're talking about. They're attracting clients. they're attracting clients. Their methods are for work, because what they're doing is for the next generation. What they're doing is working right now. It's not what worked, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, whenever Brian Tracy was coming up. But even just to speak briefly on your point, if from what I understand, and you can please correct me, because I am not, FocalPoint certified coach, and I don't know 100% for sure, but Brian Tracy, who I do know, a sales guy, and Eat the Frog and Procrastination and Do It Now is what I have printed right up behind me from his inspiration. So he is great, but he still operates under the brand and his name of Brian Tracy International. And I have never personally seen a lot of, except for just some little franchise ads with Brian Tracy on there. And so from what I had understood, I don't know if this is true, that they kind of put that it was a brand, kind of a brand already, and then they did at some point over the last possibly 5 years, I don't know how long ago it was, but that they did partner possibly for some things with the Brian Tracy under promotional. But is it his material?
The FocalPoint material is based on his teachings, on his books, on his theories and methodologies, but it's from a very sales perspective. Brian Tracy's material is about selling. Mm-hmm. It's about organizing your thoughts. It's about having a goal in mind. It's about how to get to that goal. And when you read his books, the goal is the sales. Mm-hmm. Is how to make more money, is how to get more clients, is how to sell more. So it really is about building your client base. So when I was vetting FocalPoint before buying into the franchise, it was really about, well, you do have to do the work, so, perception is reality. So, what I perceived was, this is what I'm going to get from FocalPoint. And they're telling me, well, you're going to have to do the work of finding clients. We don't hand you leads. And I said, okay, I can understand that. That's okay. I have a great client base on LinkedIn. I had my hundreds and thousands of contacts on LinkedIn. Now, I was a new resident to Kansas City, but that didn't bother me that I didn't have a huge Kansas City base, because I was building it on LinkedIn. And I came from Texas and I came to Kansas City, and I was building my client base, my contact base on LinkedIn. And I felt really secure about it. But I get to certification training, and they're preaching to me this really kind of old and antiquated, way of building my network and building my warm contacts and my warm leads, and I should follow up on them. Well, it was not really about warm leads and champion lists. It was like, who are your hot leads, and who are your hot contacts, and who's boiling over? Because it was like, well, call on them, like literally on the phone. It was like, use snail mail, use direct mail, and get your postcards out. It's like, direct mail is dead. Like, what are they thinking? Print is dead. It's like, if you don't, it's like even your Facebook posts, they're not getting out to the people that you want. If you're not using LinkedIn, if you're not getting your messages out, and I'm sitting there pulling my hair out a year ago today, and I'm thinking, there's got to be a way to automate this, because I'm sending one message at a time, manually, copy and pasting my message manually into all these little messages, trying to send them off to all these people, and then trying to follow up with all these people that I'm trying to become friendly with and build relationships with here locally in Kansas City, because I'm supposed to be doing this face-to-face coaching thing, because that's the model. Mm-hmm. And then I've got my mentor asking me, my FocalPoint appointed mentor, well, how many, chamber meetings have you gone to? How many of these meetings have you gone to? Have you gotten out in the community? And I was like, why do I want to go to these chamber meetings when every time I go to a chamber meeting, I'm not going to meet the same people? Yeah, I'll get out there and spread out, but that's casting a really wide net. How am I going to follow up with all these people? And they're going to remember me? Jen who? You know how many Jennifers there are in the world? I'm one of a million. So, that is not efficient to me. That's not being efficient and using my time wisely. Online with a platform like LinkedIn, I can follow up. I can follow up immediately. I can follow up continuously. I can follow up personally, because I can go from that widespread, grape shot type of method down to the personal. I can message, I can follow up, I can email, because in an electronic world, email is personal. Email is personal. Eventually, it might get to a phone conversation. And I know in the old world, it's like, why didn't you pick up the phone? Why didn't you write a thank you letter? Yes, my mother instilled in me, write thank you letters. I know all about it. You know, I had a bat mitzvah, I had a wedding. I hand wrote thank you letters to hundreds of people. So I know the value of thank you, but I also know the value of getting it out instantly. Snail mail is dead. Print is dead.
Mm-hmm. Wow, yeah, 100% what you just said speaks volumes for sure. And even with that, you were doing that post, you were doing some activities of your own on LinkedIn, you know, as you were saying, reaching out and everything like that. But it just depends on the message. So I remember you were telling me originally, like kind of when we first met, that you were doing some workshops there locally. And so did any of those messages, or did, you know, anything that you were doing, did it ever result into a client, or how was that with the workshops?
Well, you know, I set the workshops up in such a way that I made it sound like I thought I was going to do them quarterly, because I wanted to see how the first quarter went. So I said, you know, here's my first quarter, you know, Q1 workshop series. And I did 2 workshops a month, you know, for the whole first quarter. So I wrote 6 workshops. And I had free space available to me as being a member of a particular bank here locally that supports small businesses in the community. They made their conference spaces available free to members of the bank. So I had beautiful conference space available to me for free, so I didn't have to pay for it. That was nice. And I did all, you know, I really did my marketing online, got it out there by Facebook. You know, I boosted it, I posted it, I did whatever you want. I used Alignable, which is kind of like a local version of LinkedIn, try to get the word out that way. And then I'm a member of BNI, so I used my BNI group, and I tried to, you know, make announcements there, and I used my 30-second advertisement, you know, at every meeting to do that. I said, you know, bring your clients down. It's free. You know, it's lunch hour. Come down and do this. For all but one workshop, 0 attendance. 0 attendance. And for the one workshop, I got 1 business, and it was a BNI member. And at BNI, I got all these wonderful testimonials, but nobody was showing up. And even when I talk to my BNI members, my fellow members, and go on my one-on-ones and have these little meetings to get, you know, to get to know everybody better and get to know your business better, and tell people how you can refer out, you know, please refer my business out. You know, if you hear these kind of sound bites from your clients, hey, that's the time to, you know, mention me and refer me out. I'm getting no referrals. And the referrals I am getting from BNI, it's the occasional BNI member. Okay, you know, I think it's time that I get a business coach in. And I'm not getting that long-term engagement where I'm doing the continuous coaching. I'm doing training sessions for their team members. And that's kind of where it's ending.
Yeah, I remember when you told me that story. I was like, oh my gosh, I felt so bad for you, because just, you know, the fact that you were not even, from what I understand, like even going to record those workshops that you were doing. So it was, you did all this prep work for this one-time event there locally. Nobody showed up. You know, you've been doing all this sort of stuff. Nobody showed up to do a free event. And it was, you know, it's just a variety of things. Also, we look, you know, also the messaging, the way that you want to attract people as well, and your approach of whenever you said, you know, you're one in a million of Jennifer's. There are 2.2 million, you know, on LinkedIn business coaches right now. I mean, there's so many business coaches out there, but there are over a half a billion actual users on there as well. So you're able to reach out, but you've got to stand out. You know, you got to really stand out, and by blending in and fitting in with all of those other certified business coaches or FocalPoint coaches or just business coaches in general that are on there, it's not going to. How are you gonna stand out and be different? You know. I feel for you, but I'm glad. So now we're working on your webinar is some of the things that we're working on right now for you, and we're going to be automating that. And so how was it that you did discover me and the processes that we use here at Ninja Growth Strategies on LinkedIn and online to attract clients?
Actually, I discovered you by you using your method. Emails went out, and I received one of your emails, and there were links, and I followed them because it was interesting to me. And And I was like, this is it. It was kind of like, wow. Because had I seen your email and your system a year ago, I guarantee you that I would not have signed up with a franchise of any sort. Because this is a platform for getting the word out. And your exercises for going through, what's my mission statement, what's my value, really helped clarify for me, more so than the materials I had received through my franchise, in terms of clarity and market and how am I going to hone in. It did for me in terms of exercises were really straight and to the point and got me where I needed to go. Because after about 6 months of trying to figure out how do I let people know what it is I do, and realizing and getting the feedback that people were like, so what are you? What do you do? What's your business? I'm like, well, I'm a business coach. They're like, so what do you do? Well, I'm a business coach. So what's your company do? And I'm like, okay, this is going in circles and people don't understand what I do and I can't explain it. Because the franchise model was, well, we help you with time, team, and money and long-term planning. And people were like, well, what are those? And to break it down and unpack that any further was like, well, you just need to sign up. And so I was like, no, I need to say that I am this. I am the expert in this. And then from there, figure out what they need in a consultation and say, okay, well, from here, this is what you need. This is what I can help you with. So when I figured out what it is I am, what it is I do, and then I realized, for the past 20 some odd years that I've been in human resources and the people and the businesses that I've been helping, I've always honed in on that one thing. I can help you do X. So in order to market yourself, you have to narrow it down. You can't be the everything to everyone. You can't be the jack of all and the master of none. I mean, I felt that way when I graduated college. I went to a prestigious liberal art college, and the day I graduated, I'm like, I totally know that I'm overeducated and underexperienced. How the heck am I going to get a job? So what did I do when I graduated college? I immediately stayed in school and went on for a master's. I was like, I'm probably the only person who went straight through from nursery school to grad school with 20 years of education and had no idea what I wanted to do. And I felt completely unemployable. And I'm like, 20 years later, I feel like I'm in the same boat. And I'm like, no, we have to narrow back down, figure it out, and find that one thing. And it's Myranda, it's you, who reminded me of that. Got me back to that point and got me to focus, like laser focus. And I got off track because the franchise, which wants to offer so much, gave me that grape shot effect. It got me off track. And I was off track. And so I had to come back.
Yeah. And it happens to the best of us, believe me. And your story is exactly like so many that I speak to, ongoing. And what's interesting though, is that, you were like, okay, LinkedIn and email, this is the way that it is doing. I attracted you using my online methods and the way that we reach out, and invited you to an automated, invited you to my web class. It was very targeted, very specific to you, it was actually even geared to certified business coaches or focal point business coaches, was how I was targeting my message. So you're like, wow, this is speaking exactly to me. I've got this problem. If I could help you get, 20 more calls booked, 25 calls booked a month from LinkedIn without advertising, which from the comfort of your home in your PJs, would you want to talk? Or, if so, or would you want to know more, watch this free web class. It's very attractive messages, very targeted message. And that's how you became my client, by walking my talk. And that is what it is that I help my clients do. Now, as opposed to from what you're telling me, and what I hear is that the focal point, they tell you to go and, create your list, your champions list, call people, this and that, do these different things. How did focal point attract you?
Well, it's like I said before, perception is reality. So I guess I heard what I wanted to. I went into rose-colored glasses thinking, well, I need to free up my time to market myself. And therefore, why should I recreate the wheel and create all of the curriculum, all of the material? Hey, they've templated it, hey, let's use the material that's already been created and run with it. And I could be freed up to do all the marketing I need to do. And I felt like when they said, hey, we don't feed you leads, you need to have your warm client base and, your warm referrals in your network. I felt like I was stepping into that, having my base, having my network,
Yeah.
because it was all on LinkedIn.
Yeah. And that's how they found you. So like they're telling you to do that local stuff. They're telling you to do this, but they're doing advertising on LinkedIn and reaching out on LinkedIn to get their franchise clients. And that's what it is that they're doing, as opposed to teaching that method, because ding, 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 it works. It works so well that they're selling people into, $50, $60, $70,000 franchise packages with, ongoing cost every month after that. And so that's how it works. That's how well that the online method works. It's just interesting that then they're still they haven't updated their material to pass that on in real time and cutting edge, to their clients, to support their actual franchisees to be able to. This is how you get clients today in 2018, right?
And it's not even that they've not updated their material, because they're slowly getting the material, in PDF form onto the website.
Oh my gosh.
But they haven't updated their thinking on how to attract clients and where to go for them. They're still thinking you have to go to the chamber, you have to join BNI, you have to get out there and hobnob and rub elbows. They don't realize and understand the value. They don't even know what to do with a LinkedIn contact.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I got to certification training for that week, every time they said, hey, create, list out your champions list, I'm like, why do I have to bother writing a name, let alone 10 names on this piece of paper, when all I got to do is log into LinkedIn, where I got thousands of names? And to them, that was like meaningless.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I went home after certification training for a week, and I was like, where do I start? Because there's no support for this. There's no platform for this. They can't utilize what I have. Nobody could help me, extract what I needed out of LinkedIn into a spreadsheet. And then once I got it in the spreadsheet, they're like, well, what do you want to do with this?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, fantastic. They're big electronic.
But if I could help you, scale your business to, replace yourself and be more efficient and be able to, of course, hire your first 5 employees and set yourself up for explosive growth, would you want to talk? Or, watch my free web class here. Bam. That's what you do with them, right?
Yeah. I mean, their big electronic push is to have a monthly newsletter that goes out by email. And in some countries, the spam laws are so tight that you have to opt in to the newsletter. Well, in this country, the spam laws aren't that aggressive. So you still are stuck with have an automated email go out, having those people opt in. I mean, people don't read spam in the first place, so they're not going to read your email that says, hey, now you need to take a step and opt in for my newsletter, let alone read your newsletter. So,
and it's the all one and the same FocalPoints newsletter, as I understand it too, right? Is there outdated thinking copy? I mean, material, or
if you have the time, you can play and edit the newsletter. If you have the time to go and do that. For that matter, go write your own blog.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I am, sorry that you've gone through all of those different things. So the program that you were speaking about specifically that you're halfway through right now is our Big Leap Year program. It's a 8-week program that I've designed to help business coaches be able to find their expertise and stand out there and make their first 6 figures online this year using LinkedIn. And that is using these strategies that I've been developing since 2010 as an online entrepreneur, and I've started, this is my 3rd business that I've got to the first 6 figures when the first year of launching, using the exact same strategies that I used to launch my coaching business and my coaching program, this program last year. That's exactly what it is that I'm using to teach you. And so you're halfway through that right now. So what would you say then? You talked about a lot of different things here, but what was kind of the biggest thing that you would say that my program has helped you with so far where you are right now? I know we're kind of working on your webinar, getting that going to launch here soon, actually. Yeah.
Well, you have to start from the beginning, because as I espouse is, if you don't have that goal, if you don't know where you're going, how can you get anywhere? So you really have to get that goal in. You really have to have a picture of where it is you're going, and then set the map. And the nice thing, the amazing thing about your program is you really have the map set out. So it helps the person focus on their goal, which is what I was struggling with this whole past year, because I was given so much material, I couldn't focus it. It was going this way. So now I'm able to go this way. I have that focus point. And now I can fill out the template. I can fill out my map and know where I'm navigating to. And that's really my mantra is, where are you going? Know where you're going. So now with your template, I'm really filling that out. I'm really going to be able to communicate to people what it is I have to offer and know what I'm offering. And that's really the most important, knowing where you're going. And so with your guidance and with your direction and with your tools, I can communicate where it is I can take people.
Wonderful. Good. I'm glad that that's the approach that it is that you're doing. And actually somebody else just recently that joined over the weekend, she sent me an email. She's like, oh my gosh, just even though you know this, you teach that's the first step in your web class. And it's always, but just doing it and for yourself and applying it in that unique way and having somebody to keep you on track and actually writing it down and investing in a program, investing in the time to do it, to actually do what it takes and to do like what you want your clients to do, to stand up and to show up, and actually take it and do it. So I'm glad that clarity has really been helpful for you. I remember at the end of one program, as you were so cute, we were on, at the end of one of our weekly coaching sessions to keep you on track. You were like, oh my gosh, after we fleshed out your program, you're like, this is the most clarity that I've had in my business, all year. You were so excited once we kind of had that direction and realized that we could put that workshop that you were doing into that webinar and have it be actually your high ticket program, your initial outcome program. So wonderful. I'm so excited to be doing that. So would you recommend me to other business coaches or maybe the current ones that are in there right now and they're, struggling to get clients or struggling to trying to figure things out like what you were, or maybe somebody that is considering investing in they think that they need to be a certified business coach after they've had, experience or even investing, into a franchise. So would you recommend me to other business coaches?
Well, I would say, take my workshop and, we'll find out what it is your goal. We'll get you clarity and then we'll see if at the end of that, that's part of your map. If it takes a franchise to navigate you towards your specific goal. And if that's the tool, if that's the resource that's going to help you achieve your lifelong dream, well, then that's part of your equation. But if we decipher what it is that a franchise is going to offer you and what you need to bring to that franchise to justify the cost of it, and if that's going to make it more efficient for you, well, then go for it. But if we determine and break that down and that the cost doesn't justify the efficiency and the time it's going to take, well, then maybe that's not the tool for you.
Wonderful. I love how you put that thought process into it and, go through the first, how it is important to really make sure that you know thy business, know thyself, and that you're aligning what it is that you want to do. Well, I know I have definitely enjoyed working with you. And speaking about the web class that we're getting ready to launch with you, and we're going to be launching it here as well in the Facebook group. So what is, can you briefly tell us about that, the title of it and what we can expect for that?
Well, it is for that individual and that business owner that feels stretched. So it's really about scaling your business. So if you can scale your business, you can make that dream a reality. And that is the concept of my workshop.
Wonderful. And we can find you on LinkedIn?
That is correct.
Find you? Okay. Mm-hmm. And then that's under Jennifer Dworsky. Would you mind spelling that for us? I might put it on here later, but make sure we get it right.
Yes, absolutely. I married the last name. So Jennifer Dworsky is D as in David, Worsky.
Awesome. Well, good. It was my honor to be here to help you shine and really let your expertise really shine out as being the efficiency coach and to help entrepreneurs who are stretched too thin, give them that scaling efficiency checkup before they prepare themselves. for explosive growth. It's been Myranda Love here with Ninja Growth Strategies. And if you want to find out more about how we can help you, please, the first step that I would recommend for you too is to go to ninjagrowthstrategies.com and watch our free web class, How to Make Your First Six Figures Online This Year as a Business Coach using LinkedIn, to see our strategies there. And that is at ninjagrowthstrategies.com. And if you do want to go ahead and speak with us, you're ready, you watch that web class, or you've listened to something here and you want to go ahead and take action, we are still right now taking people for our mid-leap, big leap year program that is going on right now. So it's not too late to make 2018 your big leap year. It can really happen very, very, very fast whenever you put things into action, have that vision and a proven path to get an accountability and the laser focus to keep you there. So, and if you want to book a call with us at ninjagrowthstrategies.com/growth. Again, that's ninjagrowthstrategies.com/growth. We'll help you go ahead and get started on clarity and see what this would look like for you. Signing out. Thanks again, Jennifer.
You're welcome. Thank you. Bye.